На півночі нашої країни продовжується відхід окупантів. Повільний, але помітний. На сході нашої країни ситуація залишається вкрай складною.
When Russian forces invaded Ukraine on February 24th, all eyes were on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. But after months of fighting and a strong resistance from Ukrainian fighters, a different city has become a decisive object for Russia, Mariupol.
I think the value that Mariupol presents is a victory in a war that has gone very poorly for Putin right now.
This city could redirect the war in Ukraine. Capturing Mariupol is part of a higher-level strategy by the Russian forces, who are now focusing on southeastern Ukraine, specifically the Donbas region. Throughout April, Russian troops devastated the port city, and roughly 3/4 of the population has fled since the war began.
The images coming out of Mariupol are difficult to see just because you see entire swaths of the city that are just completely destroyed.
Mariupol is home to the largest shipping port on the Sea of Azov. The city also houses one of Europe's largest steel plants, Azovstal Iron and Steel Works. The city's capture would present easy access to a land bridge between Crimea and Russia. But it is also symbolically important that the main defenders of Mariupol are the Azov Battalion, a far-right nationalist group that became famous in Russia for its role in fighting against Russian-backed separatists in 2014.
Putin framed this war as an attempt to denazify Ukraine, and so if he can win a victory over the Azov regiment in Mariupol, that's certain to be plenty of fodder for the Russian propaganda mill.
В первом публичном заявлении обращении к стране, вооруженным силам, я прямо назвал цели. Цель главная – помощь людям на Донбассе.
Russia has strategically targeted civilian centers like Mariupol's maternity hospital and drama theater, where 1,000 residents took shelter. Actions that government bodies like the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe have called war crimes.
I think those were all actions that were intended both to demoralize the Ukrainian citizens who were still living in the city and the Ukrainian forces that were fighting for the city of Mariupol.
After weeks of relentless bombing, most of the city is now in Russian hands. Vladimir Putin has claimed victory, and while figures change every day, around 2,000 Ukrainian fighters remain as they continue to resist surrender. And they're sheltering here, Azovstal Iron and Steel Works, a 4.2 square mile steel plant that has become the last holdout. Ukrainian officials believe that there are hundreds of civilians sheltered at the plant as well.
And it's such a massive facility that even by vehicle, it would take you 5 minutes to go from one end to another. So this is an enormous piece of industry in the middle of the city, and it provides excellent defensive cover to any armed force that happens to be stationed there.
Shelling and airstrikes continue at Azovstal as Russian forces blockade the steel plant to force surrender. After joint efforts by the United Nations and the International Red Cross, at least 100 civilians safely evacuated the plant on May 1st. But hundreds of Ukrainian fighters and civilians remain in the steelworks.
Unfortunately, this could be the end of the Ukrainian defense of Mariupol, with those forces trapped in Azovstal, unable to be resupplied, unable to obtain food. Then there's only so long that they can last.
If Russia succeeds in fully capturing the city, experts say it could have significant effects for the wider war in eastern Ukraine.
It would free up Russian forces to advance north and to continue putting pressure on Ukrainian military that's fighting in the Donbas. That might start a negotiation process with the Ukrainians to try to end the war altogether.
Long term, experts say that Russia's aggressive approach in the east may have greater implications for Ukraine's geopolitical identity.
This war to liberate and to protect Ukrainians from their own government has cost the lives of thousands of residents of Mariupol. Residents of Donbas will never be able to forgive Putin for what happened. And as a result, I think in the long run, there's no longer going to be an East-West divide in Ukraine that we had seen for years of electoral politics. I think this pushes Ukraine firmly on a path toward European integration. At this point, any affiliations with a pro-Russian movement, pro-Russian party is toxic.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.